This is a journey into sound. This is a journey into sound.
All right, welcome to Let's Go to the Movies DC Talk. I'm Mark Laser One, and welcome to our show. Our first episode at that. Let me see. All right. Now, first of all, I gotta have some background music. Anyway, this is something easy listening to. Let's crank that in the background. All right. Now, as I said before, I'm Mark Laser One. This is Let's Go to the Movies DC Talk. There's I'm planning on having two different types of Let's Go to the Movies, where we talk about all kinds of movies, and then we have DC Talk, where we just talk about DC Comics movies, which I enjoy. Anyway, getting to this thing. This is you may know me from the Lake Placid Football Dynasty. Yeah, we're gonna continue to do the Lake Placid Football Dynasty with the NCAA college football. We're gonna continue that. It's just I wanted to do something other than just the football. Anyway, let's get on with what we're going to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about the DC movies in general. Look, I know a lot of people do not like the Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, even Justice League. But hey, personally, I love these movies. I love them. My son love them. A lot of people that I know, they seem to like them. So everybody's not gonna like everything. Some of us just, we like the DC movies. You know what I mean? I prefer them to the other brand. So, and you always get a lot of negative stuff and a lot of negative attacks and stuff on the DC movies, and it's not fair and it's not right. But that's just the way it is. You take your good with your bad. Like I said, it's different. I'm seeing a lot of different things that I never thought we would even see in a movie. I never dreamed that they would do a movie with Aquaman in it, and so on and so forth. So I'm enjoying it. So for those who enjoy it, this show is for you. If not, this is not for you. Okay, that's the only thing. If so anyway, the one of the big news is coming out of the DC camp is they have a person who's going to be running the ship now. They're going to give the keys to Walter Hamada, if I'm saying his name properly. From what I'm hearing, he's the guy who's in charge of the Conjuring and the Annabelle series. He's been in charge of that cinematic universe. And a few other horror movies. So I don't really know anything about the guy. This is the first I ever heard of him. But hey, I feel like it's gonna work out. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about the guy. So other than the Conjuring stuff. But to be honest, the Conjuring stuff, for me, I'm not that's not my type of horror movies. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I like to have somebody like a Jason or a Freddy or something. You know, something more along that line. I'm not too much into the jump scare genre, if I'm saying it properly. So I don't know how he's gonna fit, but from what I'm hearing, he's gonna be in charge of everything. So I guess that'll be cool to see how that works out. Because what I call the Zack Snyder Phase 1 of the DCEU, and I knew from the beginning that they wasn't calling it the DCEU, but Warner Brothers allowed the name to stick, so I'm gonna call it that until they give me something else to call it. So the DCEU has done 6 movies. They released 5. They got one last movie, Aquaman, and to me that's their Phase 1, and I call it the Zack Snyder Phase 1. So I guess starting with the next 2 movies coming up, Shazam, which I wish they would call it Captain Marvel, because hey, he was first. And Wonder Woman 2 will be entering Phase 2 of the DCEU, or as I will call it, Walter Hamada's Phase 2. Anyway, and I know a lot of people was disappointed about Jeff Johns not having the keys to the ship, but Jeff Johns was never going to have that position. See, I feel like Warner Brothers did that with Jeff Johns. That was just a PR move, because a lot of people was calling for something to be done and something to be changed, and so they basically tossed a piece of bread out there, Jeff Johns, to ease some of the backlash. But Jeff Johns was never going to be in charge of this cinematic universe. It just wasn't going to happen. He might be a consultant, but he was never going to. He was never going to be given, the keys to the car. It just wasn't going to happen. So I know a lot of people are disappointed that he didn't get a chance to get in there and show what he can do. He was never there for that. He was there as a PR move to ease some of the backlash, and that's all he was there for. And people saw that as a course correction, and and Warner Brothers, they putting out this and they saying that and saying this as course correction. They never corrected course. They never did that. I try to get people to understand. They had a plan mapped out from the beginning. Zack Snyder had a plan mapped out from the beginning. And that was their plan. Start off dark and lighten up as you go. And that's pretty much what they did. That's what they did with Superman. And the reason why a lot of people don't like Superman, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman is because of what they done with Superman. But what Zack Snyder did was, he said, look, a lot of people hated Superman Returns. A lot of people hated the smiling, the upbeat, the Christopher Reeve type Superman. That type Superman don't work today. And a lot of people didn't like it because of that. He didn't punch anything. He was all, So what Zack Snyder did was he proved to you that that's the Superman that you want. You want Christopher Reeve Superman. And he proved it to you by starting him off as a Superman who wasn't quite that smiling, upbeat type Superman. He was more of a darker version of this hero, this character. And That's what he was trying to prove to you. So what he did was he started off Superman by grounding him in the real world and what it would really be like to have a Superman. And then gradually building up to that Superman that you find out now that you're missing, that you want, that everybody's out saying, when you're going to do a Superman movie and when it's going to do the proper Superman, and while he was smiling in Justice League, and I want to see more of that type of Superman. But what Zack Snyder had to do was prove to you that that's the Superman that you wanted by first giving you the Superman that you deserve. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it, and I still love it, because you know what? How could this guy be the Superman that you want him to be without him having trial and error? You know, he got to start from somewhere. And people say, they're not developing the character. They developing the character right in front of your face. You just listening to a lot of the naysayers and the haters and those people that creating this narrative. You listening to them, and instead of trusting what you're seeing on film. And they're showing you character development. They're showing you a conflicted child growing up to be a conflicted man till he finally realized what's more important to him, and not to be worried about those who would say negative things towards him, and doing the things that he now see is the right things to do. So that's to me what that's all about. And you know, like false narratives always jumps in on these DC movies. That's been another problem that I've had. And it bothers me to see that these false narratives can get out there and basically ruin a movie or ruin a franchise. And it does. And what I'm hoping with this Hamada guy in charge now, I'm hoping he's the type of person who can get out there and address these issues when they come up, instead of just letting them just roll on and roll on and roll on to it become a negative thing to people just don't even go to the movie at all. You know, because you got this one narrative of people saying, oh, Justice League is going to lose $100 million. That's not true. That's not true at all. Justice League making money just like all other movies. See, people don't realize you got different areas of where money comes from these movies. It's not just how much money you make at the theaters. Is also the money that like investors don't put in. You got your product placement that happens, but that's people putting money into the movie. So, and then you got donations that comes in that goes into making the movie. So even though it might say it took them $300 million to make it, all that $300 million didn't come from Warner Brothers, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's one portion of it. Then you got another part too where there's merchandise sales that come in. That's what I call the middle end, the toy sales and so on and so forth. And then you got the back end when you start selling the DVDs and Blu-rays and so on. And a lot of people don't know that the DC movies outsell the Marvel movies individually, not as a whole, because Marvel got more movies, but individually they outsell Marvel's movies, DVD and Blu-ray on the back end. So, and like every movie that they do, everybody wants to see the what's called the director's cut, So to say that this Justice League is losing money, that's a lie. That's a straight out misinformed lie. And here's another thing that a lot of people don't know, that in China, which is that new big market, China, Justice League is the highest grossing movie in China out of all the DC movies. I mean, more than Batman Rises, more than Wonder Woman, BBS, Man of Steel. Some of the DC movies couldn't even get in the China market. I don't understand how Suicide Squad don't get in the China market. What they said was it had to do with magic and stuff. Did they not see? But yet, Doctor Strange, who is all about magic, gets in. So that I don't understand. Anyway, I know you got people who wants to see a reboot and hoping for a reboot, and I don't feel like it's gonna happen. It's not gonna reboot. They just have to figure out what they're gonna do with the Batman character with Ben Affleck. They just got to figure out what they're gonna do with Ben. And honestly, if it was me, what I would do is I would take Ben. I say, look, the Batman will be your movie, your project. Give me that what you wanted to do with Deathstroke, whatever. Give me that, and I would take Reed and I say, Reed, I want you to go and do a trilogy that will be a prequel to Man of Steel. So we see younger version of Batman in 3 movies. That's what I would do. If I was Hamada running the show, if I could whisper in his ear, that's what I would tell him. I said, do the Batman with Ben Affleck and let him go out in a blaze of glory. Take Reeves to go and do a prequel trilogy before Man of Steel so people can see how Batman got to where he's at by the time Man of Steel happens. So, and that's how I would do that. But I wouldn't do a reboot. And then I put in there that little thing and said that, okay, that's your whole movie, the Batman with Affleck. And then I said, I'm going to give you one more. I need you for one more little thing, and that's Flashpoint. But I want to do Flashpoint for a while. I would do a Flash movie before I do Flashpoint. That's just my personal thing. So that's just my take on that situation. And getting to Wonder Woman 2, I know a lot of people have been saying that it's going to take place in the 80s, and that's not what Patty Jenkins is saying. And see, that's what I like about Patty Jenkins, because when stuff get out there about her movie, the Wonder Woman movie, she shut that negative stuff down quick. She don't let it grow or fester. She shut it down. But she said she would like to see Linda Carter in the movie. I would like to see Linda Carter in the movie myself. I wouldn't say as a major character. I would like to see her as a older, wiser Amazon, like an oracle or something that she might have to go and get some advice from or something like that. But not someone who's like throughout the entire movie. Now, me personally, Wonder Woman 2, I would like that to be in World War II. I know a lot of people don't want to do World War II. I would do it in World War II. And I would make it, I was kind of started off at the beginning, World War II. And then I was kind of ease it into a Raiders of the Lost Ark type of thing. Because she's in the archaeology and all this stuff. And they're trying to find they trying to beat the Nazis from finding the Spear of Destiny. That's how I would do it. And the main villain would be Cersei. Another villain that would be in it would be Gigana, except I wouldn't make her 50 feet tall. I mean, you got some naturally tall women that could pull off a more realistic of height, like 8 feet, 9 feet, something like that, without getting too CGI. And I would do something like that. Maybe in the beginning, like in a early battle, you can introduce Sergeant Rock for like 5 minutes in the movie at the start of a battle or something, and Wonder Woman just comes in and cleans up the battlefield, something like that. I would like to see, for another thing, I don't want to see Trevor anymore, because they already killed that character and they need to leave that, let that rest. I wouldn't mind seeing her try to have a relationship with someone else, but it doesn't quite work out, along the way. But, this is just some ideas that I've been kicking around, they showing images from the Aquaman movie. Love the Aquaman. That's my favorite character of all comic books. Is Aquaman. And I know he got a fan base and he got a lot of haters. Okay, I understand that. But to you haters, bite me. No. Aquaman. I mean, they showing some cool stuff, and I can't wait for that movie. The one thing that I wish that I hope they don't do, I hope they don't cut his hand off. Please don't give me the Hook. Please don't give me the Hook, Aquaman. Because I love the character Aquaman, I tolerated the Hook in the cartoons. I tolerated it in the comics, but I wasn't a real fan of the Hook Aquaman. I'm hoping he's more the new 52 Aquaman. I like him better. And he kicked more butt since the new 52. And then talking about haters, we're looking at some stuff that was said about superhero movies by Jodie Foster. So yeah, tell me about it. Jodie Foster was a great actress, and she made some nice movies, some really nice movies, some movies that I could probably still watch today. Don't sit up here and get me to start naming them though. I've seen them, but the names don't pop out at me right there, and I didn't take the time to look any of it up. I could look it up right now if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because, because I don't want to focus too much on Jodie Foster. She said some really nasty, mean things about, the big blockbusters and so on and so forth in comic book movies. But I would like to make a suggestion to Miss Foster. Read some comic books, because they're not all about superheroes. There's other things in comics that a person like you, who's a director, can go in and say, hey, I can make a movie like this, and it doesn't have to be a big budget movie. All you have to do is go into the studio that owns that property and say to them, we can make this movie. Don't have to connect to anything, at a low budget, and you will make more money than what you put into it. And that's all what these studios want to do. If they spend $30 million, they want to get 50 to 60 to 80 million back. You see what I'm saying? So, and she has the cred to do a movie like that. They have drama comic books. It's not all about superheroes out there beating up on villains and stuff. It's not all about big guns exploding and stuff. They got love stories too. They got dramas too. I've seen them. I don't read them, but they got them. And I mean, you look at what she could do. She can go to Warner Brothers or Walter and pitch a Gotham Academy. It's about kids that living in this academy, that they live in that world where Batman is fighting villains and stuff, but it's not about villains and stuff. It's about those kids. It's about their day-to-day life in the academy. And I hadn't really read the comic. I've seen a little bit on it on YouTube with the, what they call him, the comic historian. He did a couple of stories. And it could be a low-budget Gotham Academy movie. It could fit in with the DCEU, and it wouldn't even cost a whole lot to do. You can get kids that that don't have the big names, so you don't have to pay them a whole lot to do the movie. And it could be a cult classic. It can be a hit off the top. So every comic, isn't about superheroes and big explosions. To where you had to get like Zack Snyder and Michael Bay and the what you call them, the Wisconsin twins, the Wachowskis. I can't say their names, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I just can't say their name. But you get them brothers. Every movie don't have to be like that coming out of a comic book. I mean, even some of these superheroes have drama. And you could take a superhero and make a drama out of it, But to hate on it, I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't like that type of movie, you just don't like it. But to throw hate at it like she was doing, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. And moving on. I believe Margot Robbie was talking about Gotham City Sirens. Can't wait till that come out. David Ayers doing the directing, and I guess he's doing the story too. I think Gotham City Sirens is gonna be I think it's gonna be a real good movie. I really do. I don't think it's gonna have the budget like their other movies, but I think it's gonna do really well because 3 female villains, costumes. Who don't want to see that? You got Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy. Ain't no telling who else they might put in there. I wouldn't mind seeing Katana in there somewhere. So I think it's gonna be a good movie. I would have done things differently, but that's just me because I like to do trilogies. I like trilogy. I would have took Harley Quinn and said, look, let your production company we're gonna give you the money to do this and do a trilogy. Sit down with Jeff Johns and David Ayers and map this thing out. That's what I would do. I would do a standalone, just Harley Quinn movie where first you see how she pushes away from the Joker, and it's Harley Quinn, and and let her deal. Let Batman have to deal with that. Let whoever the Batman gonna be at the time have to deal with, Harley Quinn. And then she turns over the new leaf towards the end of the movie. Kind of, sort of. And then, like in the second movie, I give her, that's when I put Poison Ivy in. Harley and Ivy. That'll be a cool movie right there. They can be like Thelma and Louise and, like a all-female Bonnie and Clyde, natural born killers, that type of movie. And just let them leave Gotham and go somewhere else and just do whatever, and then come back and do the Sirens, in the third movie, add Catwoman and whoever else you want to add. That's how I would do it. you know. And got to see a couple of clips from Gotham by Gaslight. Man, I can't wait to see that. Batman taking on Jack the Ripper. It's like, hey man, stay out of my head. It's like they read my mind on that one. But that's gonna be awesome. Gotham by Gaslight. Okay, so another thing that on what I've been hearing is a Zack Snyder protest. People are protesting and want to see the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Okay, I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing that movie. But I don't have to see it. I don't have to see a Zack Snyder cut because most of what we saw was Zack Snyder. I know there was some reshoots and I know there was some cuts, but I don't believe that Zack Snyder had that much more as they decided to not do the dark side thing. But at the same time, Justice League kind of splits in two ways towards the end. It leaves the door open for Darkseid if that's what they want to do next, or taking on the Legion of Doom if that's what they want to do next. So to me personally, we don't have to have a Zack Snyder cut because, you know, when they do the Blu-ray DVD anyway, they're gonna add some more stuff to it. They're gonna add some more to it, but to have a actual, like, it's gonna be like a totally different movie, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I don't think it's gonna be a totally different movie. I don't think, even if they did a Zack Snyder cut, it's not gonna be a totally different movie. It's just not. So, and let me see, getting to the part where, what is it, Variety? I don't even read that. But the news is they're saying that Justice League is the most disappointing movie of the year. Well, you know what? Bite me. That's what I say. And I'm telling you, as many of the disappointing movies I done seen this year, and I am going to do a video of my opinion of what was the most disappointing movies of 2017. Justice League is not one of them. Sorry, dude. Whoever wrote that is totally biased and don't care. Whoever took the time to waste time to read the article, that's on you. But most of the people who probably read the article don't agree. So there you go. So moving on. Moving on. Going to the couple of the upcoming TV shows. I love the shows. Black Lightning. I can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see a character that I never thought I would ever see on TV. Shoot, we couldn't even get him on the Super Friends cartoon. Something about Hanna-Barbera not be able to get the license for Black Lightning. That's why they came up with Black Vulcan. Who, if I was DC, I would take Black Vulcan and say, hey, we just make you Black Lightning's older brother. That's something that I would do. I say, hey, it relates to DC Super Friends, bring them on in. Another character. But Black Lightning show, from what I'm seeing so far, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I can't wait to watch it, to really see. I wish that they went in a different direction. I would wish they had went with a younger version of Black Lightning, and when he first got started and got his powers and first got out there and so on and so forth, and watch him grow as we get to see Arrow and Flash, but that's not gonna happen. So they're taking more of a Ben Affleck Batman approach, and one of the actresses said something about the show being more about the girls than anything, but that don't make sense. So I would rather see him before he had a family. But not only does he have kids, but they got older kids, so he's an older dude. So here we go. Me personally, I would have rather seen him in his mid to late 20s. Okay. But instead, we talking about wow. He gotta be like in his 40s. Got kids in high school, so there you go. Anyway, it's still overall story-wise look like it's gonna be a pretty good show. So I would definitely be watching it. And I would definitely be checking that out. And Krypton. That's another one I'm waiting for. They said that's gonna start on March the 21st. I can't wait. Finally, the DCEU is coming to me instead of me gotta go to it. It's coming to me. So I can't wait till that show gets started. That's gonna be a prequel to Man of Steel. This is like way before, Superman. So that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool to see that. So I'm looking forward to Krypton. I hope they do more TV series like this. Like I would love to see like the Amazons before Diana was, or see the Atlanteans, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, or check this out. How about a Gotham movie way before, a Gotham series way before the modern time, like back in the day, where you can get some Jonah Hicks or something like that, You get the Gotham Western, you have the original Waynes. That'll be something to see, boy. Anyway, so that'll be pretty good. I know that Disney's buying up everything that's not Warner Brothers. Because Warner Brothers is the only one that can compete with them money-wise. So, but everybody else, and what they got to do with DC here, well, the series Gotham. I love that series. This past summer, this past fall, I binge watched the first season all the way to finally catching up. And I'm amazed by people that don't like this series, man. This is an awesome series. There's something else that I say, hey, you can take that Gotham series and you can make that part of the DCEU, because the kid kind of favors Ben Affleck anyway. So, and then when you start doing like the movies now, And so you already got a lot of your villains established. And it's, like you say, it's easier to make a person look older than it is to make an older person look younger. Make a younger person look older than to make a younger person look, it's easier to make a younger person look older than an older person look younger. See, I had to slow down. But it is. And when it comes to movies, so you already got your Penguin, you already got your Riddler, so on and so forth. You can take Jerome and say that he's not the Joker, but he's the person that inspired the Joker in the universe. Or you could do it like Rebirth. There's 3 Jokers. And so you got Jerome, and then you got Leto, and then and they talking about doing another one. There you go. There's your 3 Jokers right there. So when we see the new guys, Metron in that chair, and they tell Ben Affleck there's 3 Jokers, he said, "Wait a minute, what do you mean there's 3 Jokers?" So he said, "Man, it was hard enough just thinking it was just one." But anyway, I guess since Disney gonna buy up Fox, I guess Gotham is gonna cancel, because if I'm gonna tell you what, if Disney is doing any Batman stuff, you talking about taking it to the streets, I'm definitely gonna be pissed off. I said, Warner Brothers, y'all gotta do some suing, man, because Disney is affiliated with Marvel, and Marvel don't need to be touching your stuff just like you don't need to be touching theirs. That's just the way it should be. In fact, Gotham, in my opinion, as soon as they sign the deal, all of anything had to do with Batman, Gotham, all of that goes straight back to Warner Brothers, like it's supposed to be, or DC, where it's supposed to be. Seeing how, everybody should have their own property. That's how I feel. I just hate the fact, getting off the subject of DC, I just hate the fact that some of these other properties is going to belong to Disney. Like Predator, Aliens. I can't wait till they break off into a Disney song and dance. Anyway, that's it. That's all the DC talk that we have for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. It might be another week or 2 before I can do another episode. It just depends on how much of any type of news going on around the world of DC, especially around the movies. So till then, we will see you. And hey, you have a good one. And be looking out for season 4 of Lake Placid Football Dynasty. You have a good one.